I guess the first question is, Alyssa, would you kind of describe kind of your experience with, working with our call center and actually having a conversation with them about the potential of setting your first booked appointment?
Yeah, for sure. It was pretty easy. Just scheduled a quick call, jumped on it. I think it was less than 15 minutes. They were just asking questions about where I was located, stuff like that. Then they're pretty open about how long the process might take, set that expectation, let them know that they'll be in contact, reach out anytime type of thing. So like I said, it was a less than 15-minute call, super quick, super easy. And then yeah, kind of went from there.
Cool. And then after that call wrapped up, about how long did it take for them to reach out with your first appointment?
Yeah, so I think they said it would be, I think they say like 30 days, but they said typically it takes less than that. I think it ended up being like at most 2 weeks. It was less than 2 weeks. Then Roberta reached out with the first lead.
Okay, and then let's kind of talk through the process of kind of who that lead was, without giving away any personal details, of course, but just the kind of store it was, and then kind of what were your first steps in reaching out to the lead?
Yeah. So it was a pet groomer, and they sent over all the details. So I had a chance to review. They sent over like a document of all the details they go over on the phone with the merchant. So I read over that. Looked like a really promising lead. They were processing about, I think I said 65 to 85 a month. Which being my first one, I was like, okay, I really want to land this one. This is not, and this is my first time ever in this industry too. So I was like, okay, well, I don't want to mess this up. This is a big potential client. So immediately after watching some of the lives, I know John was mentioning reach out to him anytime. They're here to help. So I happened to watch that live right before I received my my lead. So thank God for that. Or I probably would have got a little lost if I didn't have someone like John on the other end to help me walk through that process, because you don't really want to just walk in without any like knowledge or any support. Being your first time, like just getting into this industry, not really know what's going on. I didn't want to walk in looking like I didn't know what was going on. So when I received that, I immediately texted John and just let him know, hey, I just received this lead. I sent him a picture of the lead. And of course, John's great as always. He was willing to jump on a call just to discuss how to go about it at first. So
yeah, and so we have, for those of you watching, we have a sales support call that has a calendar booking option for you to pretty much book that call with John, which we recommend doing even before you receive the lead. You can do that before you receive the lead or after, but ideally before. That way you kind of already are able to hit the ground running when you get the lead. So what was covered on that call, and how was that helpful for you?
Well, John just went over, like I said, I did receive the lead before I jumped on the call with John, but he kind of just went over like what to expect at first, kind of things to touch on. And he said like he's available if he needs, like just basically let him know like the time you're going. So he's available if needed to, jump on for support kind of thing. Just kind of that reassurance. So I'm not sure if it's different for someone who might like contact John before they receive the lead to kind of go over like the details. But the lead was so good to the fact that I didn't really need to question whether it was one to pass on just by their monthly volume kind of thing. So it was more of, all right, how do I go in here and approach this? What to expect initially kind of things. So he kind of just like talk me through those steps kind of things, like if there was any pushback, kind of common rejections, things, stuff like that.
Yep. And then, okay, great. And then we can kind of move forward to that first in-person visit.
Yep. So like I said, John, I let him know before I went, like, hey, this is the time. So I did call them after I received the lead just to schedule a time to come out. And I did let John and team know, like, hey, I'm going here around this time, just so they know, like, if they needed to be available, if I had any questions, because the last thing you want to do is go there and then obviously John not be available if you needed something, then it's like, okay, well, I need to get with my team, I'll get back to you kind of thing. You kind of want to go in there and have someone that's able to answer those questions right away.
Quick question on that. So when you call the merchant, sometimes we'll have merchants that, they understand somebody's coming, but there isn't a specific set time and day. It's like, hey, yeah, somebody's coming today, maybe in the afternoon, just kind of a general time frame. And then if it kind of slips a few days, then sometimes the merchants forget that somebody's coming. And so it's kind of a surprise when somebody shows up. But in your case, when you actually called them to just double confirm, hey, I'm coming, and make sure that John's available during that time as well. Were they receptive to that? Was it a specific day and time appointment, or was it more just kind of like, oh yeah?
It was more of I was going to work around their schedule type of thing. I know they're busy. Just wanted to let them know, like, hey, I can stop in, or is it easier to schedule a time? And they were more, they wanted to go the route of scheduling a specific time to come out. Because they are so busy, so they can make time for that.
Yeah.
So I think I called them on a Friday, which was like a day after I got the lead, and we scheduled a time for that next Tuesday. Yeah.
Guys, so that's really critical. It's that you called them immediately after receiving the lead. You did talk to John before calling them, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so talk to John, then within 24 hours pretty much, you called the merchant, you booked the appointment at a specific day and time for the following Tuesday.
Yeah, because I didn't know if they're going to be like, oh yeah, come out today. So I definitely need to connect with John first to make sure, like, if I needed to obviously make that drive out today, I was prepared to go.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so then let's talk about Tuesday's first visit.
Yep. So again, like I said, I connected with John just to make sure he was available if I had any questions. Showed up, spoke to, there's two owners. They were already excited about the cash discount program, I guess. They've been doing their own kind of research. So this was an example of where they were looking already to change to a cash discount. It was more of which company they were going to go with, kind of thing. So it was more of, they were searching for the best deal at that type. They were kind of looking through their options. So just went in there, answered any questions they had. I didn't really have to go through like what the cash discount program was as much, because they already were familiar with it, whether it was they got enough information from the lead call from the Paybotics team or the merchant automation team, or they did their own research on the side. They were pretty up to speed of what was going on. But just was there, went over a brief, just kind of what we're here to do, what we can do for them, answered any of their questions, kind of took notes, and they were going to think about it and get back to me, kind of thing. So
okay, so that was the outcome of the call, was thank you for the information, we're going to think about it.
Yeah, they wanted to sit there and think about it. Like they said, they had a few other people that were reaching out to them, trying to help them out with the cash discount program as well. So it was more like, we're going to think about it. I think they wanted to, I'm trying to remember, they wanted to see one thing. So it wasn't like, I'll reach out if I need something. I left it with, I needed to send them a follow-up email with something they were asking for. I think if they were curious to see what the receipt looked like when it was printed out for the cash discount program. So I told them, I'll send this over later this afternoon. Let me get a picture of what this looks like for you. So I was able to send that over, and then obviously communicate with them a little bit more after the initial appointment. They were curious what rate we can offer. I told them like how we do the 4%. They're like, oh, you do the 4%. They're like, another company is offering me 3.5, stuff like that. So it was more of during that conversation, I could see how they were kind of like leaning towards like, oh, I said 4%. They were kind of pushing away. So I was like, oh, well, no, I mean, based on like your volume, like we can definitely, like, I can see if we could work something out type of thing for you. So that's when we kind of wrapped that all up in the conversation, how they were looking for more information as far as like how things looked on the receipt, stuff like that. And I left it as like, yeah, let me see if I could definitely get you that 3.5. We could definitely match that, but let me see what else I can do for you. Them being such a big client, I know I wanted to come in with like a competitive offer, because I know they had offers on the table.
Yeah.
So like John said, they definitely wanted that lower rate, which was something we can do for them. But I know that wasn't potentially all they needed to hear. I think because they had other offers, they needed to hear a little bit more. So
Yeah.
we talked about covering the fees for them. So the cash discount fee, or the cash discount monthly fee, the software fees, stuff like that was all discussed during the first meeting as well.
All this stuff, I guess two questions come to mind. One, did John prepare you for this before you went to the meeting? Like, if these are potential questions or objections that might come up? And then
Yes,
two,
he did say these are options we can have on the table as well, meaning like if we need to cover these fees and stuff. And like, obviously I didn't initially go in saying, hey, we're going to give you all this stuff. It was more so like, as I said, things were like, oh, well, this company said they could do this type of thing. So it was more of just trying to go back and trying to stay competitive with the offers that they were getting. So yeah, so before that, John did mention like, hey, we have these up our sleeve if needed. Like you can cover these fees for them, like stuff like that. He even mentioned like you can provide them free paper for years, printer paper, stuff like this. So all this stuff we did discuss before the call. Wasn't really expecting having to use it right away, but yeah, I guess they came in with other offers coming on. So had to kind of like negotiate with them a little bit.
Yeah. What about the statement itself? I know John likes to analyze those to get a feel for if we need to, how far can we actually discount the percentage, etc., based on our transactional volume, credit versus debit, etc. Like, was that something that you asked for on that first visit? Was that down the line, or how did that happen?
Because of their volume, we didn't really need to go that route to look at the statement. They did end up sending it over as they were discussing wanting to lower the rate, but the initial visit, we didn't discuss receiving a statement. As more talks, like further down the road, they were talking about like, hey, 3.5, and then we eventually got down to like a 3, more stuff like that. We kind of look at the statement and see what we could do for them type of thing, or more so just being my first client. It was a good, even though we didn't need the statement, it was a good one to just try to get and receive and then get on the phone with John just to look at it.
When was your second appointment, and how many days after that did you schedule a second appointment, or did you just show up?
So like I said, they had a couple of requests that I was going to follow up with email. So I was able to do that. And then I went over the offer again, as far as like how we would match them at the 3.5, the few things that we would give them, provided them a picture of like what the receipt would look like, let them know like looking forward to working with you and stuff like that. Didn't hear from them a couple days. So I just did like a quick call. They're pretty chill people. I felt comfortable just giving them a call. They are super busy. It might have been easier than just walking right in. Even though that is an option. So I gave them a quick call when they first opened, just let them know like, hey, just making sure you received the email. Like I said, there was 2 owners. So his name was Kevin. He's like, yeah, I received it. I was going to sit down with the other owner actually this week. He's like, I just got back. I guess he was out of town. He's like, then we're gonna look to discuss it, type of thing. So kind of left it as that at first. Didn't hear from them for another couple of days or another day. I talked to John again. And that's when he suggested like, hey, probably best to just like walk in there. Like they're busy. Might not always be like time to like for them to just like get on their email and like respond to you type of thing. So I walked in, I think after the initial appointment, it was probably that week. I met with them Tuesday. I think Friday I think I walked in and I asked like I walked in, the lady was there. She's like, oh, I'm so glad you showed up. Like, she's like, I've been so busy. Sorry, I haven't been able to respond to your email, which I wasn't expecting that reaction. I thought maybe they were just trying to like, just blow it off type of thing. So it was really beneficial to kind of pop in and just show face, I guess. It was kind of a good learning experience because it did, like, I know John and them say like these owners are busy, stuff like that, but I saw it firsthand as I walked in there. Like her reaction was like, oh, thank God you showed up. Like, because she didn't have the time to like get to the email type of thing. So it was like I was like, oh wow, I didn't say it to her, but to me, I was like, oh wow, this is kind of shocking how busy they are, I guess. So she's super happy I showed up and walked in type of thing. So
okay, and then how did that visit go?
Sorry, what was that?
How did that visit go?
Yeah, no, that was good. She was more so like, thanks for showing up. Yeah, like we're super interested. Everything you said looks great. Stuff like that. Like, kind of basically, yeah, let's move forward type of thing. So I was like, oh, like great type of thing. They were obviously super busy because I just showed up, didn't schedule a time. So it was more of, can you send me over the agreement type of thing? Which I told her I'll do it that afternoon. I sent that over. She didn't. I called John immediately after, and he's like, well, let's wait until we get the agreement signed before we start celebrating type of thing.
Yeah.
So it did take them a couple of days to sign kind of thing. So I did have to go back in one more time. I brought the paper for them to sign because they didn't sign it right away. So yeah, I think it's more of just knowing the business and the owners and how busy they are. They seem like they're people where you kind of need to show up versus like just send it over. Like they will get to it eventually, but you kind of want to keep it moving. You don't want to have to delay time. So I did send it over, but there was no movement within like a day or two. So I kind of just printed it out, showed up, had them fill it out there type of thing. And we were good to go.
Perfect. And then after that, was there any kind of like follow-up action items, like installation of the device, terminal, that kind of stuff?
Yep. So again, which they made it clear in the beginning, they are super busy. They wanted me to handle pretty much everything from them, which I did not mind. So I had the terminal shipped to me. I tried to install and set up as much as possible before bringing it over to them from my home. And then once I brought it over, it was kind of just a plug and play type of thing. So pretty smooth transition. They were pretty happy with everything. And yeah, it's just been kind of like that since. We communicate actually pretty often in the beginning as they're getting set up and comfortable with their new system. And but yeah, it's been nice.
Yep. And yeah, so when the terminal is getting shipped out to her, that she was aware to contact our office. And we got Lolly and JB in there.
Yeah.
Are often helping out to make changes. Because what happens is, the owners, a lot of times they want things a certain way. So sometimes we have to make changes to the equipment, to the receipts, things like just to fine tune it for them. And they're always available.
John coming in with all the good points. Thanks for bringing that up again.
Yeah, no worries.
So when I did receive it, yes, I had to jump on the phone with the Paybiotics team and go through all the steps. They walked me through it, super easy. They were super helpful. So yeah, as things change, like the passcode on the terminal, stuff like that, just like little things you would change, how their name appears on the receipt, any type of little change that they were able to assist with. They were super helpful. And even when I did bring it, there was one little thing. I think they wanted to change the pin on the terminal that versus what I set up for them. So called the team. They were able to remote in real quick and help me change that. So they were super helpful through the whole process. But yeah, highly recommend if you do receive the terminal for your merchant, get on a call with the team, have them show you through like how it all works. Or even if you're shipping it right to the business, the merchant, I would still jump on that call with the team and have them go over the specific terminal and how it all works.
Yeah.
Because they're going to ask questions on it. So it's helpful to know a little bit how it works versus just dropping it off and then having questions and not being able to answer.
Yeah. Okay. So any other items that you wanted to cover, John? Any kind of like other
I kind of want to cover, Alyssa, the time when we went back and forth with them, how we got from 3.5 to 3.25 to 3%.
Yep. So again, I don't know if this is because so they are in the heart of downtown Orlando. So there's people constantly coming in all the time, trying to get them on their payment processing. And so I don't know if this is more of them just knowing the deals out there, what other companies can do. I know they really wanted to work with me. They like the relationship and the support I'm able to provide them, which was nice. I was able to establish that right up front. Because this was all within the first few weeks. So they did ask about like after the 3.5 if we were able to go any lower type of thing. So we were able to make that happen for them type of thing. They are a big client that we didn't want to lose. And I do know they have those other offers out there type of thing. And even since after the initial setup, even recently, I was talking to John, they had another guy come in and being like, hey, we can do this. And he immediately texted me and was like, obviously I want to stay with your company, stuff like this. Are you able to match that? So I didn't want to get into this type of thing where every time a company comes in and kind of tries to offer them lower, I just keep matching it. So kind of went in there and just went over what we're all offering them, the benefits and stuff like that, to kind of set that expectation. Like, yeah, I'm here for you. I'm going to work with you on this. We can do this for you type of thing, but went over the value that we're offering them and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's kind of a unique one. And I don't know, again, it's my first one. So John might know more, but them having so many people like constantly coming in, trying to offer them better deals almost daily. I think they said they get people in here in their store weekly trying to get them to switch to their business and stuff like that. So it's more of for me, because at some point you can only go so low at a rate, right? So for me, it's to build that relationship and that trust and offer that great service. So that's what I'm really big on with this specific merchant, because I think they're always going to get those people coming in to try to one up on rate, if that makes sense.
And one of the key things that I'm always emphasizing to all the sales agents is, okay, the reason these people already knew about the program is because several salespeople had already gone to the business, did their pitch, and never came back. Okay, so the fact that Alyssa was able to go in there, the people were already educated. If those other sales reps would have kept coming back, somebody else would have got that. So I tell sales reps is keep following up with the client until they're ready, because someday they are going to be ready, but you're not going to be there. Somebody else is going to walk in and be like, oh, yes, we've researched it. We looked at it. We thought about it for the last 6 months. And now you come in, now we're ready. So that's why it's important to follow up, as many times as it takes to be able to get that account and build that relationship. It's kind of like, after they see you so many times, they're just gonna be like, oh, Aaron, how you doing, buddy? It's no longer you're just, just this cold caller that just walked in and you never came back again. It's like, oh, Aaron keeps coming back. Oh, he's always here. Yep. They get to know you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's one thing that's definite about this. If I didn't follow up, they would have went with someone else because they were ready for that switch. It was just more so they were busy and they didn't have the time. So if I would have just took that as in, oh, they're not responding to me, they're not interested type of thing, the next person that would have went in there would have closed them probably.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Could have been a few more days if she would have been like, oh, let me give them 2 more weeks or whatever. I don't, but no, she was pretty active. Like, okay, I need to go get this deal. And I was like, okay, yep, go in there, do this, here's the next step, keep following up, get the deal closed.
Yep. Did you run into any questions that you did not know how to answer during the visits? And if so, how did you kind of, present that to the merchant?
Yeah. I would say a couple. I mean, I went through the training that the merchant automation training. So I went through the whole thing, obviously, before I went to meet with the client. So I had a good understanding of pretty much what was going on, maybe questions they might ask. Mm-hmm. I guess like I said, they just wanted to know what the receipt looked like for the cash discount program. I didn't really know exactly, but it was no problem. I was like, oh, I can actually get you an example of this today. I'll send this over an email, stuff like that. Just kind of letting them know, like, I don't have this with me right now, but I can get this to you today. No problem.
Yeah, I think so. This, let me kind of summarize everything here that I picked up during the call. It's really, really helpful. So before the call, I think it's really important that everybody, like you, similar to you, Alyssa, you took the time to go through the trainings, right, to understand the questions that might come up. You spoke to John, who also gave you some, not only some ways to answer questions, but also some things that we have up our sleeve in terms of negotiation tactics to help you close that deal. Showing up to that merchant account, setting a specific appointment, and then following up in a considerate manner where you call them, but if you're not getting the response you're looking for, just kind of having that ability to walk in, right, and be face-to-face with somebody and have that conversation right there and then. And then I think that continued follow-up of going back and visiting and letting them know that you're not going to go anywhere, that you're going to be there for them, and you're going to keep on coming back until the deal is done, right? That really showed probably a sign of good faith to them that you were serious, you were somebody that was dependable and was going to see the whole thing through. And then after that, it was really just making sure that I think with John's point, I think what and here this would be really helpful for people to see. It's not a matter of necessarily like there's so many competitors that go in and offer deals or this percentage, that percentage, or this and that. It's really a lot of times it comes down to relationships, right? It comes down to rapport and trust. And like, does that person see you as reliable, dependable? Do they actually just like you as a person? And is there that kind of relationship there? Because if there is, then not only will you be able to close the deal, but more importantly, when people actually end up trying to go, around you and try to close deals that basically take over your account from another competitor, right? You have that kind of moat or that kind of protection a little bit because of that existing relationship and rapport. So maybe we'll end here and just basically say, John, Alyssa, what are your thoughts around the importance of relationship building and some of those face-to-face trust rapport building things, because these aren't covered in the training necessarily as much, or they're not quantifiable in terms of a percentage or that, but it is equally, if not more important, to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, no, I'll start off. I agree. I guess I saw this firsthand versus the old company they were with. I asked, they wanted help with closing that account out and stuff like that. And I asked her oh, have you ever spoke with them before? And she had no idea really, kind of thing. So I kind of helped close that out, return the equipment for her, kind of easy for her and them to just move forward and move on versus me building that relationship with them and that trust. And that first person that came in that tried to sell them on a better deal, she immediately texted me. It was like, hey, obviously I want to work with you and I like your company and stuff like that. So you can see the difference versus when I came in to try to change them to a different company or to join us, she kind of just pushed that other one aside because she didn't know them. She didn't build that relationship with them type of thing. And then the first one that came in and she immediately texted me. It was like, I want to stay with you, because just building that relationship over the first month. So it's been great.
Yeah, and it's a huge opportunity that we have out there because there's millions of businesses out there, and a lot of them they sign up online, they sign up with the bank. I think they were with the bank? Do you remember who they were?
No, they were with
yeah, they were the funny thing, Aaron, she's in Orlando. They actually signed up with a company here down the road from me in Los Angeles. The company that they were with is here. But also what happens is some of these companies, let's say we have Alyssa as our partner agent, but then she disappears and now we no longer have Alyssa and she doesn't take care of this account. The same thing with this company. They could either the groomers could either signed up online and they never got an agent, or their agent just disappeared. You know, so this leaves a huge void and a huge opportunity for us to go after all these accounts that don't have agent. You having that customer service is so important, and they value that because they're so busy with all their stuff. They're just like, yeah, if Alyssa walks in and be like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna take care of everything for you. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Boom. They're gonna be happy with that. And when they just feel that much more confident than when something goes wrong with the machine, Alyssa's gonna be there. we'll get them a machine fast. Whereas opposed to, oh, I gotta call an 800 number, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, you know. So another key thing is this relationship building. Like, let's say I want to stick at a certain pricing and the client wants to negotiate at a lower pricing. If I want to stick to my pricing, I could just drop right away and say, you know what, okay, let's do this. Or I could say, you know what, I'm gonna stick to my pricing, but I'm gonna come back another day and build the relationship even stronger. So the more relationship you build, the less you gotta negotiate. Okay, so that is key. Think of it as your fuel is building that relationship. The stronger that relationship you build, the less you have to negotiate.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of sales reps out there, they don't want to, they're more lazy to build a relationship. And they'll rather just, try to get the deal done and drop everything, throw in the kitchen sink and everything, and not have to come back anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the way I look at it more, is build a relationship, kind of like when you're baking, make sure it's baked completely through, make sure it's ready to go before you try to eat it.
Cool.
Yeah,
I think this was amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Alyssa and John. I think this is really, really helpful. I think it would help a lot of people get a very realistic sense of, like, here's kind of what it takes sometimes, right, to close those deals. Of course, all of us would like to have those leads and those accounts where you walk up and you show up and it's like, oh yeah, where do I sign up? But the reality is, that's probably in the minority, right? The majority is relationship building, following up, coming through and showing people that you're serious, you're going to be around, you're not going to give up on them. And then that's why they're going to choose you and also ultimately stick with you. So yeah, really, really helpful. Any last words for anybody that's, I think this would be a good way to actually finish up right here. Unless from your perspective as a client of ours, any kind of, like, somebody was maybe struggling a little bit right now with some of their leads, maybe they're a little bit nervous, anxious about going to visit that merchant. Somebody like you who is totally new to the industry and not sure if they can answer the questions that they need. What are some of those kind of, like, parting thoughts or pieces of advice that you can give them as somebody who's successfully done this now?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I was the same. I get super nervous, especially when I'm not too familiar with what might be brought up and stuff like that, just being super new to the industry. I would definitely recommend making sure you did all your training, and obviously book time with the Paybotics team, ask as many questions, do your research, stuff like that. I mean, the more you know, the less nervous you'll be, I guess I could say it like that. So I even bought a book, just read a little bit more, just learn as much as you can about the industry. Not just from what the merchant automation or Paybotics team might provide as well. Do your own research type of thing, and just keep practicing and kind of just go out there. Like I told John, I had a slower first start after my first lead because I'm taking the time to really build and learn the business, like making a website, business cards, stuff like that before I really hit the ground running. Because I am one of those people that I really need to know to get that confidence to go out, because I'm not the typical, I could just go out and do anything and have all the confidence. I kind of need to know as much as possible before I can do that. So someone who might be more like me, a little bit more like shy in that sense, just do your research, educate yourself, and just practice, and then you'll have a little bit more confidence. And the more you get out there, the more confidence you build as you go.
Yep. And then one last thing I'd like to add is there is a learning curve. Okay, there is a learning curve, but think about it like this: you will go 4 years to college, dedicate yourself 4 years to college so that you can go get a job that's going to pay you $100,000 a year. So you're fully dedicated, right? Same thing with this. If you dedicated 4 years of your life to this, to never have to work again, okay? If you just went out and did this for 4 years and just visited clients and followed up on the leads and followed up, you would in 4 years, while your friends are going off to their corporate job, you're not going to that corporate job. Okay, you're gonna stay home and work from home, you're going to be at the beach, wherever. But it is the learning curve. You have to learn this. You have to learn the process. And part of it is you have to get out there, and just talk to people. You don't have to even try to close people. Just when you're at the barbecue, hey, Aaron, how you doing? Oh, yeah, great. I'm doing merchant services. It's awesome. This is what I do. We program the machines for clients. So you're just out there practicing. Everybody you talk to, this is what I'm doing. And yeah, but sometimes you don't want to tell your family members or your friends because they're going to discourage you. They're going to be like, oh no, that'll never work, whatever. But just people you're meeting in general, other business owners, this, just throw it out there as a conversation. Even when you walk into a business, just don't go in thinking, oh, I'm going to sign up this deal. I'm going to close this deal. I'm so nervous. How do I even talk to the guy? No, just go in thinking like, oh yeah, I'm not even going to close this deal. I don't even want to close this deal. I'm just going to talk to the people here. Just find out how, what makes your chicken so good, or what gave you the idea to start your business. Just conversating. It's a simple step. Just start conversations, and then that's going to lead to deals.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, and just, get out there. The more you practice, the better you're going to get. If you're just waiting for this one lead to come in, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I've never talked to a client before, then, it's going to be, it is going to be harder. But if while you're waiting for this lead, you're talking to people, or even after this lead, you're talking to other people, you're already practicing, you're going to know what the objections are coming at you and what the rebuttals. You guys can come back to me, John. I mentioned this to somebody at a barbecue. This is what they said. Yeah, this is the way you handle it. Boom. Move forward. Yeah, and it's been great working with Alyssa. She's going to be a beast, once she gets out there, starts pounding the pavement, making those relationships, building relationships. She's going to be amazing part of our team here, and we're excited to have her aboard.
Thanks, John. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys for your time. We'll wrap the call here.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Guys. Take care.
All right, Aaron.
Bye.
Have a good one.